Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Syria's de facto leader Al-Sharaa to announce defense ministry, military structure soon, weapons to be under state control. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi distributes more than 71,000 appointment letters to newly appointed recruits, says development of the country happens through its youth. And Donald Trump threatens to retake control of the Panama Canal, accuses Panama of charging excessive fees to use the canal. Syria's rebel leader Ahmad Al-Sharaa is moving ahead to tighten his grip on his country. His latest announcement to bring all arms under state control is a big step in this direction. Sharaa held a meeting with Turkey's foreign minister. This is his first meeting with a foreign dignitary since he ousted Bashar al-Assad. Speaking at a joint press conference, Sharaa outlined ambitious steps for Syria's rebuilding security and political future. Here's more on the developments.
2 weeks after seizing control of Damascus, Syria's new leader, Ahmad al-Sharaa, has pledged to bring all weapons under state control, a key step in consolidating power and ensuring stability. During a joint press conference with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, Sharaa announced the dissolution of armed factions, including Kurdish-led forces, and their integration into a unified national army.
Within days, the Defense Ministry will be announced and a committee of high-level military leaders will be formed to design a new structure for the new Syrian army. Following that, the factions will begin to announce their dissolution and integration gradually. We will not by any means allow for arms outside the control of the state. It is the top of our priorities to work on controlling arms in the country, and I think there is a wide agreement among the factions.
Turkey's foreign minister expressed his country's readiness to support Syria in its rebuilding efforts. He also stressed the need for lifting international sanctions on Damascus.
There is no doubt about Syria's territorial integrity and unity, and there can never be any. In our talks today, we confirmed our mutual will on this issue. I would like to emphasize once again that there is no place for the Kurdish militants in Syria. This territorial organization is occupying the land of Syrian people and stealing its natural resources.
On the other hand, Iran said that it is important for Syria to not become a place for the rise of terrorism.
In the future, based on the approach of the ruling authorities, we will decide on our relations with Syria. The current situation in Syria is unclear. It is important that Syria does not become a safe haven and a place for the rise of terrorism.
Sharaa also emphasized the protection of minorities, vowing to prevent sectarian violence. This message of unity echoed in Damascus, where Muslims and Christians gathered to celebrate at a vibrant Christmas market.
This Christmas atmosphere this year is very beautiful. This year, the ambience is even more joyful because Syria was liberated and our problems have finally been resolved.
Muslims are coming to the Christian markets more than the Christians. We have always celebrated both Christian and Muslim holidays together, and this has not changed at all since the revolution. In the contrary, you feel that people are now happier and more comfortable.
Syria's nearly 14-year-old civil war has left profound devastation. As Ahmad al-Sharaa steps into leadership, his promises of reform and unity are being seen as a fresh start for a country long torn by conflict. The next few weeks will be critical in determining if Syria can truly rebuild and turn a new page in its history. Bureau Report, DD India.
Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico at Kremlin on Sunday as a contract allowing for Russian gas to transit through Ukraine nears its expiry date. Slovakia, heavily dependent on Russian gas, fears supply disruptions with the Ukraine transit contract expiring at the end of the year. Ukraine has made it clear it will not renew the transit contract, while FICO mentioned that Putin had confirmed Russia's readiness to continue to supply gas to the west and to Slovakia. FICO posted on social media that Sunday's meeting was in response to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky opposing any transit of gas through Ukraine to our territory. The two leaders also discussed the conflict in Ukraine just hours after Putin warned of harsh reprisals against Kiev over a drone attack. Russia on Monday claimed to have captured the village of Storoziv in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region near the town of Velva Novosilka, which its forces are reportedly attempting to encircle. Moscow says it has seized over 190 Ukrainian settlements this year as Ukrainian forces face manpower and ammunition shortages. US President-elect Donald Trump threatened to reassert US control over the Panama Canal, accusing Panama of charging excessive rates to use the Central American Passage, which allows ships to cross between the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. Speaking to a crowd of supporters in Arizona on Sunday, Trump also said that he would not let the canal fall into the wrong hands, warning of potential Chinese influence on the passage. Trump's comments came hours after he leveled a similar threat against Panama in a post on Truth Social on Saturday night.
We will never, ever let it fall into the wrong hands, but it's falling into the wrong hands. It was not given for the benefit of others by a token of cooperation, but it was given to Panama and to the people of Panama, but it has provisions. You got to treat us fairly, and they haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly, and without question.
Moments after Donald Trump doubled down on his plans to take back the Panama Canal, Panama's president said that the canal will remain under his country's control. In a video posted to social media, Jose Raul Molino rejected Trump's claims that the United States could retake the waterway. He also disputed Trump's complaints that the U.S. vessels were being charged unfair and exorbitant fees to travel through the canal.
No tiene control directo.
The canal is not controlled directly or indirectly by China, the European Community, the United States, or any other power. As a Panamanian, I reject any statement that misrepresents this reality. The canal will continue to be in Panamanian hands as the patrimony of our nation and guaranteeing its use for the peaceful and uninterrupted transit of ships of all nations.
Para el tránsito pacífico.
The United States announced on Monday that it has launched an investigation into China's semiconductor policies, citing concerns over Beijing's use of extensive anti-competitive and non-market means to disrupt global economies. The probe will focus on foundational semiconductors, critical components used in products like cars and medical devices. The investigation aims to determine whether China's actions are creating barriers for American businesses. Tens of thousands of people gathered in central Belgrade on Sunday to protest against President Aleksandar Vučić and his ruling Serbian Progressive Party. The party was blamed for a railway station roof collapse last month that had killed 15 people. The protesters switched on the lights of their mobile phones and stood in silence for 15 minutes to commemorate the victims. Opposition leaders and the public have taken to the streets repeatedly, blaming the accident on the shoddy construction resulting from government corruption and nepotism. The ruling coalition denies those charges, and Vučić has said that those responsible must be held to account. In Germany, tributes started pouring as residents gathered in front of the church close to Magdeburg Christmas market on Sunday to show their sympathy with the victims and their relatives of the attack that had killed 5 and injured scores. A man suspected of ploughing a car through crowds at the market faces multiple charges of murder and attempted murder. Friday's evening's attack in the central city of Magdeburg shocked the country and stirred up tensions over the charged issue of immigration. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin now, an hour's distance from where all this happened. Lars, what can you tell us about this market and what exactly happened?
Thanks for having me. Well, first of all, I should probably clarify what exactly a Christmas market is. They're very popular here in Germany and the rest of Europe. It is a much smaller phenomenon in the rest of the world, if at all. So the month leading up to Christmas, pretty much every town here has their little market where often arts and handicrafts are sold, wood carvings, knitted or felted clothing, home decorations, often, of course, with a Christmassy theme. There's also food and Glühwein. That's a spiced hot wine. It is very good, and people usually just gather at these markets, not just to shop, but to celebrate the season. Now, this market in Magdeburg was in full swing with hundreds of people in attendance when a man drove his car right into the crowd. It's a tight crowd, of course, very little room to jump aside. So the man plowed down dozens of people who didn't have a chance to react. 5 are dead, around 20 are badly injured. It's a horrible attack, and it's reminiscent of a similar attack in Berlin 8 years ago when a terrorist also drove a truck into the crowd at a Christmas market here. Of course, this is a constant reminder that terror attacks, large and small, can happen anywhere at any time.
Also, Lars, what do we know about the attacker? Who is he and what made him do this?
Incredibly interesting point. The attacker is a 50-year-old man named Taleb al-Abdul Mohsen. He's a Saudi citizen who's lived in Germany since 2006. In fact, he lived in a town nearby and worked in a hospital there as a doctor. Now, similar terror attacks in the past have often had an Islamistic background, were tied to the so-called Islamic State or similar groups. And here, the attacker is apparently an Islam critic. Some have called him an Islam hater. He has often protested about the regime in Saudi Arabia, the treatment of women there, and he has complained about Germany accepting more Saudis and generally Muslims into the country. He has made threats before when he was in contact with authorities. He has been in court before, so he was already seen as potentially dangerous. However, apparently at a level where police could not have yet legally intervened. The attacker was apprehended right after the attack. He's in jail now, and we will certainly find out more about what made him commit this horrible attack.
Thank you, Lars, for those updates. France observed a national day of mourning on Monday for Mayotte, its Indian Ocean territory, which was ravaged by Cyclone earlier this month. President Emmanuel Macron observed a minute of silence, and French flags were lowered to half-mast to honour the victims of Chido, the worst storm to hit Mayotte in 90 years. While the government's death toll stands at 35, authorities fear that the actual number could be in thousands. And next we take a look at what else is making news across the world. A cargo ship called Anma rolled onto its side at an Istanbul port early on Monday due to an imbalanced cargo load. 10 of the 15 crew members were rescued by aid personnel, while 5 jumped into the water and managed to escape on their own. One person who sustained minor injuries was transferred to the hospital. Vietnam's first subway, built with Japan's help, opened in Ho Chi Minh City on Sunday. The 20-kilometer railway aims to alleviate traffic congestion and air pollution in the city. The inaugural ceremony was attended by around 500 people, with the Japan International Cooperation Agency providing funding and Japanese companies contributing to the construction. The pro-European Premier of Romania, Marcel Ciolacu, got reappointed as the country's Prime Minister on Monday after securing a coalition agreement to exclude the far right. The outgoing President, Clau Ioannis, appointed Ciolacu, wishing him great success for the new pro-European coalition. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Pakistan faces visa ban from Gulf countries. The ban for Pakistanis follows crime, fraud and begging allegations. Cold conditions intensify across some regions of northern India. And Venetians celebrate Christmas with rowing regatta as the tradition returns to the Grand Canal.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. The United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and several other Gulf countries have imposed an indefinite ban on granting visas to people from at least 30 different cities of Pakistan. The decision follows an alarming rise in the number of cases where Pakistani nationals have been caught begging or being involved in smuggling, drug trafficking, human trafficking and other criminal offences abroad. The Gulf countries and cities, especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi, remain the most preferred destinations for millions of Pakistani travellers and job seekers. In India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi handed out over 71,000 appointment letters to the newly recruited individuals across various central government departments via video conferencing on Monday as part of the ongoing Rozgar Mela. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Modi said that new job opportunities were created in the rural areas through many government initiatives. The event aims to provide meaningful employment opportunities, empowering youth and encouraging their active role in nation building. The initiative underscores the government's commitment to prioritizing employment generation. The Rozgar Mela is being conducted at 45 locations across the country.
जब सरकार ने इथेनॉल की ब्लेंडिंग को 20% तक बढ़ाने का फैसला किया तो इससे किसानों को मदद तो हुई ही, शुगर सेक्टर में नई नौकरी के भी मौके बने। जब हमने 9,000 के लगभग किसान उत्पाद संगठन बनाए, एफपीओज बनाए, तो इससे किसानों को नया बाजार बनाने में मदद मिली और ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में रोजगार भी बने।
Emphasizing on the importance of women empowerment, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that his government opened Jan Dhan accounts for 30 crore women, enabling them to directly benefit from government schemes.
हमारी सरकार ने 30 करोड़ महिलाओं के जनधन खाते खोले, जिससे उन्हें सरकार की योजनाओं का सीधा फायदा मिलने लगा। मुद्रा योजना से महिलाओं को बिना गारंटी लोन मिलने लगा। महिलाएं पूरे घर को संभालती थी, लेकिन संपत्ति उनके नाम पर नहीं होती थी। आज पीएम आवास योजना के तहत मिलने वाले ज्यादातर घर महिलाओं के ही नाम पर है।
Kisan Divas, or National Farmers' Day, is celebrated in India on December 23rd every year. This day marks the birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna Chaudhary Charan Singh, a key leader who fought for the rights of farmers. He played a major role in improving the lives of farmers in India. A report.
National Farmers' Day is celebrated on the 23rd of December to mark the birth anniversary of the 5th Prime Minister of India, Chaudhary Charan Singh. The day honours and appreciates farmers for their contributions to society and holds special significance. The strength and vitality of a nation's farmers, often referred to as Annadatas, is closely linked to the overall empowerment and prosperity of the country. The sincere efforts of the Government of India to uplift this crucial segment of society warrants commendation and recognition. India is the world's largest producer of milk, pulses and jute and ranks as the second largest producer of rice, wheat, sugarcane, groundnut, vegetables, fruit and cotton. It is also one of the leading producers of spices, fish, poultry, livestock and plantation crops. Commitment to live up to its name of Krishi Pradhan Desh. Farmers across the nation are experiencing a newfound sense of economic security and assurance, showing the government's farmer-centric focus. The budget set aside for agriculture increased 5 times from 1.37 lakh crore rupees during 2007-14 to 7.27 lakh crore rupees during 2014 to 2025. Infrastructure near the farms is key to farmers' welfare. Since the inception of the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, rupees 35,262 crores have been sanctioned for 48,352 projects. Major projects sanctioned under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund include 11,165 warehouses, 10,307 primary processing units, 10,948 custom hiring centers, 2,420 sorting and grading units, 1,486 cold store projects, 169 assaying units, and around 11,857 other kinds of post-harvest management projects, and a historic MSP increase. Initiatives and endeavors. The Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana has become the largest crop insurance scheme in the world in terms of farmer enrollments, as well as the third largest scheme in the world in terms of insurance premiums. The government has formulated the agriculture export policy in the country for the first time. This has led to agriculture exports reaching up to 4 lakh crore rupees, with scope for further advancement. The government is promoting cooperatives in agriculture. Therefore, a Ministry of Cooperation has been established for the first time in the country. To ensure faster growth of the sector, the government is promoting private and public investment in post-harvest activities including aggregation, modern storage, efficient supply chains. Till December 19, 2023, 23.58 crore soil health cards have been distributed to farmers. India's global dominance extends across agricultural commodities, making it the largest producer of milk, pulses and spices worldwide. Given opportunities and an appropriate policy setting, India's farmers have demonstrated their capability to meet the food demands of the rest of the world. Abhishek Mahajan's report for DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to former Prime Minister and Bharat Ratna awardee Chaudhry Charan Singh on his birth anniversary, commemorating the legacy of his leadership and commitment to the nation. Prime Minister Modi highlighted Chaudhry Charan Singh's unparalleled dedication to the welfare of farmers and rural communities. PM Modi also acknowledged the late leader's tireless efforts in advocating agricultural reforms and rural development, which continues to shape India's policies even today. On to weather updates from India. Parts of Delhi NCR woke up to light rain on Monday, offering temporary relief as the air quality index remains in the severe category. Still, Delhi's minimum temperature dropped to 8.6 degrees Celsius, while Palam recorded 11.6 degrees Celsius. The India Meteorological Department predicts more rain post-Christmas on December 27th and 28th due to a western disturbance. This weather shift is expected to intensify the winter chill in the region. And for more on this, DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya spoke to the IMD scientist Naresh Kumar for more.
Monday, Delhiites woke up to a slight drizzle. So they were wondering whether they will see more such drizzle in the future, or is it just a one-off day? To talk more about that, I have with me senior scientist of India's Meteorological Department, Naresh Kumar. Sir, this is the western disturbance that we're talking about. Do we see this is going to be the one-off case, or do we see in the next few days this particular system to be active also?
Yeah, at present, if you see the position of western disturbance, it lies over North Pakistan. Generally, weather occurs whenever it is over Afghanistan or North Pakistan. Thereafter, when it comes to J&K, generally weather reduces over the region. Right. So whatever the weather we are expecting today only. Okay. So when it will move away from tomorrow onwards. But thereafter, there will be a northwesterly winds from the Himalayas, and there is a possibility of the drop in the minimum temperatures over plains of northwest India.
So the next couple of days, you were saying that we might have a drop in that minimum temperature. in both the day as well as in a night?
Yeah, no, basically it is a first night only because whenever there is a no system, then only the temperature drop basically night temperatures only, not much change in the day temperatures.
Fog, cold wave conditions. If you are in Delhi, NCR, and you want to go to the Himalayan regions or to the hilly areas, well, don't have to do that. Wait for 27th and 28th, and you might just have the same weather at that time. With camera person Al-Sharaa, this is Prasar Bharati for DD India from Delhi.
Srinagar district of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has been experiencing lower temperatures since the past few days, but recorded -7 degrees on Monday. Lakes and other water bodies have already frozen, with chilly winds forcing people to stay indoors mostly. Severe cold wave prediction has been given out by the IMD starting from December 24th. Northern Indian city of Shimla has transformed into a winter wonderland, wrapped in a pristine blanket of snow after heavy snowfall in the region. The picturesque scenes have raised hopes for a white Christmas in the state's capital. According to the State Meteorological Department, light rain is also expected in isolated areas of the plains and lower regions, adding to the charm of the season. So, adding to the charm of the season, we bring you the holiday chair from Venice's Grand Canal. The traditional Santa Claus regatta returned to the Grand Canal on Sunday. The 12th regatta featured 25 boats with participants dressed as Santa Claus and boats decorated as sleighs. Venetians celebrated Christmas with this authentic tradition of Venetian rowing. That's it in this broadcast. But before we go, India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched Waves, entering the field of OTT platform. Waves provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you want great content for free, you can download Waves today. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.